I'm about to say something super controversial. Sure, your scale number can go down, but so can your overall health. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Crystal, and I have been sharing my GLP-1 journey thus far. If you're wanting to understand why I decided to make this decision in my life, please feel free to check out the other videos. But here in this video, I really want to talk about the importance of what happens when all we do is focus on the number on the scale, which by itself, let's be honest, is nothing more than baloney, for lack of a better word. The scale in and of itself, by itself, does not determine anything of your overall biometric markers of health. Now, what I really want to do with this conversation here is to help you see how a scale by itself is not actually helping you, especially if you're somebody who, like I used to be, became very dependent and obsessed with weighing myself. And I would actually let that number determine the kind of day I was going to have. Not on purpose, obviously, but it would just naturally happen because I had done no inner work. And I really associated that number on the scale as very reflective of my overall self-worth and what I meant to the world. And so I have since healed that version of me, bless her, and I have so many different videos talking about this specific topic, but today I want to relate this to the GLP-1s because now it is trending. Let's just be honest, it is trending, and for some ridiculous reason, the skinny at all costs trend seems to be back in style, if we can even say that. And so what I'd like to bring to this conversation, bring to the table is when we are, especially women in their midlife, like me, I'm speaking to the perimenopause women and the menopause women, this phase in our life, we cannot afford to lose more muscle mass or skeletal mass. We cannot. Like naturally, there's going to be a decline as our hormones are shifting and our overall body systems are changing. We cannot, for the love of all things holy, for the love of all things holy, we cannot afford to lose our precious lean muscle and the skeletal mass. We cannot afford that because if you are wanting to live well into your late life, you are going to need these muscles and the lean skeletal mass to help you get around in your everyday life. And so I think that it's really important to note that sure, the scale number is going down, could be a dopamine hit. You could be feeling like everything is great. But if you're not actually doing any other biofeedback markers to get a sense of your overall health, one of them being followed by medical professionals, if you're able to, obviously, what tends to happen is you lose out on so much. So that number by itself means nothing. If you absolutely needed to collect the data, I would really recommend a different scale that will show you different markers, such as your body water, your muscle mass, your lean bone density, your metabolic age. If you can find a scale that can provide you with these biofeedback markers, as well as listening to your own internal biofeedback, meaning how are you recovering? How do you wake up every day? Are you like walking around over caffeinated because you're exhausted, right? How do you feel in and out of clothes? Are you constipated? How's your sexy time? Like all of these things matter. How's your mood? There's just so much more to just that one number by itself. And so if you put your whole focus on getting that number to go down, you're losing sight on so much more. So the way that I have always seen this after healing this for these past version of me who was very obsessed with the number on the scale was to look at it all as data and to see how I felt in and out of clothes, energy wise, how was my focus, how did I show up in my life? All of this matters, my mood. Because if I just put the focus on the number on the scale going down, versus the number on my weights going up, versus how I'm recovering in the gym, versus how strong I'm feeling, versus how rested I am, versus how I can bounce back from stress. If I'm simply focused on what the scale says, I am like, we end up doing a huge disservice. So as you see your feed start to fill up with this really ridiculous trend of skinny at all costs, please, 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 for the love of all things holy, take into consideration that sure, just because the number on the scale has gone down, doesn't mean that your health has gone up. Your scale number could go down as well as your overall health can go down. And so we need to be seeing the overall picture that we are more than just this one isolated number. We are way more expansive than we could ever friggin' imagine a scale number could provide us. And we have so much more to offer the world than just our body, this vessel. And I am very well aware that we live in a world that has so much stigma around the weight. And if this is something that you are struggling with yourself because you are being bullied by the society we live in, I see you and I want you to take up more space in your life. Health at any size is not just a number on a scale. Health at any size is how I feel in my mindset, in my soul set, in my heart set, and how I show up in the world. And I've talked about this so many times, but self-criticism is not a motivating factor by any means. Yes, I'm on a GLP-1 journey, but the weight loss was not the main focus. It was more getting rid of body pains, feeling like I'm finally finding myself again. And also this is why I'm going low and slow, because if it was just about the weight, I would have followed the trend like everybody else. And I'm not about that because I know that I'm more than this fucking number. And so I wanted to preach this love to you and to offer you a different perspective. We need to nourish our bodies. Sometimes we feed our psyches, and we are more than any of this combined. And so let me know in the comments how this lands for you. I see you, and you're more than any of this. All right. That's what I got for now. We will chat soon. Remember, be brave, be bold, be you.